Okay, so I'm going to do an example of an orthographic drawing. Now, what orthographic drawings do is they take the sides of an object and they make a drawing of each individual side, so that's all you can see. If I were to sketch this as an object, so let me go back to presenter here. If I was to sketch an actual object, like this roll of duct tape, what you would do is you'd be sketching, and let me just use this page over here. So if I wanted to sketch this orthographically, you want to know what it looks like straight on from the front, we'd call this the front, straight on from the top, and straight on from the side, as if you were looking straight down with the camera. So front, top, and side. So like a quick sketch of this, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, I'm not going to do it properly, but a quick sketch would be the front view. Use some construction lines to go up from the front view and to over to the side. And then we do the top or the front, doesn't matter. And then there's hidden bits in here. So we just mark that with our hidden lines. And then we do the same thing over here. We have our side view, hidden lines. Of course, you put your center mark in there, you do your center lines through. So that would be an example, because you get the front, the top, and the side. And it's as if you're looking straight down from the camera. Now, I'm going to go over an example of how to do this using this shape right here. And I'm going to try to shrink this down so I can have them both on screen because I like that. Now, this example here that I've got one boxed out. And we're just going to say one box on here equals one box on here. And then I colored the sides, because it's very important you identify the sides correctly. Like if you couldn't identify the sides on here, you can look over here to see like the top yellow bit is here. This is also the top because you'd see it when you're looking down it from above. I've got the faces for the side are red, and then the front faces are blue. So that's all laid out. So if I look at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 9 and 6 deep. So I know that I need at least on here that many spaces. So for this drawing, I'm going to do it in construction lines first. Remember, if I just go back on this page over here for a second, we've got two types of lines we're going to be using for this. We've got our object lines, which are nice and dark. And then we have our construction lines, which are super light. Very important that we use construction lines and object lines. So I'm just going to make all my construction lines green, because I think it's a little easier to see. Let me see. Yep, pretty visible on the camera. And we will make our object lines in black color pencil over the green. So to do this, I got to do a little layout. So I got to make sure everything's going to fit. So like if you were doing this one, you'd probably write like number 1 or whatever number it is. And then I'd come in a little to give me some room. And I know looking at that box that I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to need a space between them. I think I'll leave 1 space. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to start right there on that corner, because that's how much space I'm going to need. Now, you could always turn your engineering notebook like 90 degrees if you think you can get more in this way. That's up to you if you divide the paper up. But it's very important that you figure out the space required before you do the actual drawing. So looking at this, I've got my 6 by 9 here, so I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to use, I got a little triangle here. Let's count my boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to draw a line there, construction line to start. And if I didn't have graph paper here, what I'd do is I'd actually go all the way up with this, because that's going to save me from drawing later. And we can always erase. Same thing here. I'm going to need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But like I said, I'm just going to continue that line over a little ways. As long as it's a construction line, doesn't matter, because they're meant to be erased. And then I said I need to go up 6. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go up 6 using a construction line, just going over, making it longer than required. And then this was 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I will switch to 9. I'll bring that line up, make sure it goes up high enough. Okay. So that is this blue outline. So the blue outline needs to have a box cut in it. So I like to do all my front view first. And these construction lines, the reason we do them, I'll show you when we get through. So for that, I've got to go over 3 boxes. And then it is 3 boxes wide. And it is 4 boxes down. So if you didn't understand that, what I'm saying is over 3 boxes. So I know I'm going to be here. 3 boxes wide, so I'm going to end here. And 4 boxes down, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to go to kind of here on both of these. So once again, it's a construction line thing. So you don't have to go all the way down because I know where it starts, so I can go right to where it starts. But I do want to transfer it up, and you will see why. So I'll transfer those up. I'm going to transfer these over because I'm going to need them to go over. So I've got that. This should be enough. If it's not, it's okay, we can edit. And I have the front view in there. You can see it now. So we can see it. It's very plain to be seen. It's got this and this, so there's the blue area. Got a little line here that we'll erase later. It's okay because it's construction. And I got a bunch of lines going all over the place. That's no big deal. Now I'm just going to leave one gap between. The gaps are only important is they need to be equal. So like if I leave one gap between the front and the side, I need to leave one gap between the top and the front. If I left 2 gaps between the top and the front, I need 2 gaps between the front and the side. But I'm only going to leave one gap. And I already know from these construction lines how tall my side is, because it happens to be 6, just like the front. Amazing as that is. So all I really have to do here is just transfer that one up. And then I've got 2 boxes here. They're going to appear as hidden lines later. So I need to go in 2. So 1, 2. And I know that that cutout section's right here, so I can start it here. Transfer that line up. And then the whole shape is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to transfer that up. And at this point, the beauty of orthographic drawing here is I've drawn the 2 front views. I had to do all the measurements for this, like if I was measuring it, if I wasn't counting boxes. And I had to do about half. I had to do the vertical measurements for this, but the horizontals were done. This top one, I'm going to show you a trick. So you have to do 0 measurements, and that's taking a 45-degree triangle like this, making sure it's nice and parallel. So I'm using my grid lines to help me out here. And I'm going to take that from the top corner of the front view, and if I take that line over like that, everywhere where it intersects, if you make a line over, and this only works with a 45-degree triangle, If you make a line over everywhere that it intersects, you will get all of your measurements for the top without actually having to measure anything to get the top, which is really cool. At least I think so. Now that only works with a 45-degree triangle. Does not work with a 30, 60, 90. Okay, once you've done that, all you got to do is go in and darken your object lines. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, color pencil doesn't erase very well at all, if you ever tried. So I am not going to bother trying to erase my color pencils. But one tip I usually give students is when you are doing this, I like to erase all of the construction lines I think I'm going to get rid of before I do any object lines. And the reason for that is it is very easy to erase construction lines and add them back. If you make a boo-boo by darkening a construction line that should have been erased, that can ruin a whole drawing, which makes it look like poo-poo. And we don't want our drawings to look like poo-poo. We want it to look nice. So that's the front and the top. You see it there. And then I'll just do the side. Now the side, it's got that area that's a little bit hidden. So we're going to have to do hidden lines there. That is what we are going to do. So this section where it is hidden, we have to do these little dashed lines, which are called hidden lines. And they signify that there is something here, that this area does exist, we just can't see it from the side. Now, I am going to pause this and put up a finished one. Alright, ta-da! The drawing appears. This is how it would look with construction lines. You see I left them here before erasing them. So they are very faint, but they do exist. And darkened in, this might give you a little bit better idea of what it should look like. So these are the orthographic examples for how to draw an orthographic for this shape right here. Now I know I took a long time doing that, but I think it was all right.